Hello, everyone. You are listening to your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Program Development and Membership here at the Chamber. Today, we are so excited to be joined by Pam Rauch, the Vice President of External Affairs and Economic Development for Florida Power and Light. So, Pam, welcome.
Thank you.
And y'all know the drill. We'll do a quick bio intro, and then we'll jump right into our discussion. So, Pam is an incredible leader who has made a lasting impact on business, community growth, and energy innovation here in Florida. We'll be talking about her career journey, balancing work and life, breaking barriers in a male-dominated industry, and her advice for the next generation of women leaders. So, Pam, let's jump in, okay? So you've had such an impressive career from Deputy City Attorney in West Palm Beach to VP at FPL. I'm just curious, can you share some key moments that shaped your path in this leadership career that you have?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me this morning, Kiana. I've had a long career at this point. I've been in Palm Beach County a long time, and it's been a wonderful path. And, I would say probably like most people, moments that really impact your path and your leadership philosophy and who you become are moments that may not seem as dramatic, in the scheme of things. You have big wins and big deals you do and successes, but it's those quiet things that you kind of learn as an individual along the way that I think that's where we all kind of develop the most.
Right.
If I had to pick kind of a theme that really helped shape me as I progressed in my career, it was that I often made choices to do things that I didn't think I could do. And that started way back long before my career when I was a kid.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was a competitive tennis player as a kid, and where I chose to go to college was somewhere that maybe I didn't have as good a chance to make the team as I could have somewhere else. But it was a challenge to me to see if I could make it at a place that I didn't think that I could.
Was that taught like by your family? Like, how did you get that instinct that was like, I'm going to choose to do hard things regardless of what the outcome is?
Probably a little bit shaped by my parents. I grew up with two younger sisters, and we were taught that you can do anything, but whatever you do, you're going to have to work hard for it. And so there was, I think, that foundational. And then I think there's just some things inside of you. I also was raised to learn where competition is fun.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up in a family where we were competing, whether it was shuffleboard or ping pong or Ms. Pac-Man.
Right.
But it was fun. And so I think that kind of factors into that mentality a little bit. But I think that theme has carried through even through my career at FPL. I came in as an attorney doing a lot of land use work. And then I came over to the unregulated side for years and worked on growing their portfolio of renewable energy outside of Florida. And then used the experience I had in local government working on the FPL side that led me to the role I'm in today with local government relations and a lot of community work. But when I was offered the position to be an officer of the company, I have to tell you, my first reaction was, I don't think I can do that. But that's what really attracted me to the position.
Right.
So I would say that is one of the things that has kind of guided me. It's that feeling inside that excites me to try to do something I don't think I can do.
Well, and two, I love that you then just took that step. You took the step, and now you've seen, those small steps lead into this great career that you've built. So that's pretty amazing that you can do that. You've spearheaded initiatives like FPL's Office of Economic Development, creating 55,000 new jobs across Florida. Can you just share a little bit about your passion for economic growth and community development? Because I know that you already said earlier, you're passionate about this, and just share some like key moments from those journeys.
Well, I have to say that at the core of my passion, I will admit it's a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
And it just parlayed very well with my role at FPL and creating that Office of Economic Development. But to go back even further, as a lifelong Floridian, I was not born here, but we moved to South Florida when I was 4 years old. So
you're pretty much there.
I'm a lifelong Floridian.
That's what I said too. I was like, I wasn't born here, but I grew up here. I've never spent a winter up north. I didn't go anywhere. Like, we're Floridians through and through.
And, that takes me all the way back to the 60s when we moved here. Growing up here, my father said, if you want to stay in Florida, and find a professional career, you probably have to be a doctor or a lawyer. There was not a lot of industry here. Now, he may have been exaggerating,
Right.
but nonetheless, it wasn't far from the truth. This was still very much of a tourism industry,
Right.
a place to come to retire. It was not what it is
now.
today.
Yeah, it's totally different.
And when I decided to come to Palm Beach County after law school, I grew up in Broward County. uh, I knew I was coming to a small town, and it was very exciting to me to go somewhere where I thought I could make a name for myself
Yeah.
in a small enough community. But I felt the potential. But I also knew that wouldn't it be great if when I had children, that there were more opportunities in Florida, not just South Florida, but the whole state. And so it has been very rewarding personally and selfishly that Florida has grown with the help of so many individuals across the state, the business community, and so many visionaries, that Florida has really evolved to a very dynamic economy. And so both my boys love Florida. They would love to come back here when they finish their schooling.
Yeah.
They've gotten their schooling here. So, but then parlaying that with FPL, we have 16,000 employees across our enterprise that live and work in Florida. And we saw a real opportunity to partner with the local economic development organizations like the BDB,
Right.
that has such an amazing reputation for bringing not just a lot of business to Palm Beach County, but high quality, a diverse set of business and industries that are really helping to diversify our economy.
Well, and too, Kelly's a local as well. Like she grew up here
is.
too. So she really kind of also knows the importance of home while also seeing Florida be a real game changer in the United States. I think like we can contend with some big states now. So
Right.
I think that's pretty cool.
It's Kelly has the personal
Right.
satisfaction. I mean, she loves this area. This is where she's from. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And so being able to bring the resources that FPL has to the table to be a partner to Kelly and other local economic development organizations around the state, tapping into our vendors, tapping into our relationships around the world, really, to help bring business, has been very satisfying. And that's good for FPL.
Right.
That's good for FPL to grow our industry here and to grow our economy here. So it's been a win-win.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. So we're going to transition to just specifically talking about women in leadership. And the energy and infrastructure sector has historically been male dominated, yet you've built a highly successful career at the top as a woman. What challenges have you faced and how have you navigated them? Or if you haven't had any, then great,
I guess I'll start by saying what is super exciting to me is that I think we're hopefully getting closer to the point where we don't have to say it's male dominated.
Right.
I am so thrilled when I look at our own organization and look at the many amazing female leaders we have coming through the organization, as well as amazing male leaders, by the way.
Right. Who also support the growth. I mean, it's like you support each other. So I love that.
And so, that I think has always been the goal, that, that human beings with various skill sets and backgrounds come together to put together the best organization that we possibly can. So I'm really proud that I've been part of that journey.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. When I was in law school, it was definitely weighted more heavily to men, although starting to gain more women.
Right.
But as I've come through FPL as an organization that's very engineering based, we have had a focus on diversifying because engineers were typically more male dominated. I will go back to my sports.
Yeah, let's see it.
I think that growing up in South Florida playing sports was a huge benefit to me, to sort of be gender blind.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of friends that were boys and girls, but I had a lot of boys that I, practiced with, my sport, competed with. They were my partners.
Right.
They were my competitors. And so I didn't view myself as at a disadvantage. And it was also very fortunate that throughout my career, I've worked around men who were very respectful to me and gave me the respect when I was at the table. And so it's a two-way street.
Right.
But the advice I would give to any woman or man for that matter, you need to develop your presence and to have a point of view and give it in a respectful way and to find your place at the table and to have that confidence and, you know, to view yourself as someone who has a right to be at the table. And so I think it's really a two-way street. It's not about everyone else treating you right.
Right.
You have to present yourself as expecting to be treated right.
Exactly.
And so that is how I always tried to behave. And I treated others the way I had hoped to be treated.
Right.
And so I think for the most part that has worked well.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always people who will treat anyone badly.
Right.
But I will give a lot of credit to so many wonderful colleagues, men and women, but a lot of men who were leaders in our company who have truly supported my career. And I'm so forever grateful for that. And so I do feel very fortunate because I know that might not always necessarily be the case.
Right. I love that you mentioned this, what you just said that, earlier, when you have to expect to be at the table with your confidence and being prepared. Like you can have a seat at the table, but sound like a total moron sometimes. But now it's like when you have the confidence and you have the backing behind it, that energy kind of gravitates to you. And it's like you do have a seat at the table, you have a place here and have your own point of view. I love that you said that because so many times it's like people are just regurgitating stuff and you're like, what do you think about this? Like, what are you passionate about? So thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
I really like
I don't
that.
think you need to speak just for the sake to be heard.
Right.
But I think when you choose a moment that you have something valuable to say, and not everybody may agree with it.
Right.
But I think it's very important, even at a very junior age when you're coming into the work world, work hard to have a point of view. And don't be afraid if it's not, there's no right or wrong most of the time, but don't be afraid. You're going to learn.
Right.
And hopefully people give you the grace to learn. But having that perspective, and it's not going to be handed to you.
Right.
You
It's not
have
gonna be
to
handed to you.
you have to make your way.
No, I love that. That's so good. Jumping in again for women looking to lead in business or STEM fields, what advice would you give on building confidence, finding mentors, and creating those opportunities?
So I sort of look at that as three-part question.
Oh yeah, that is a very loaded question. Sorry about that.
I'll start with the mentor piece because I never really had a mentor.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I did always develop true friendships with men and women that I felt were great to bounce things off of. So they weren't necessarily way senior to me. Some of them could have been junior to me, but friends that you felt like you could commiserate with.
Right.
And when the time came, would be supportive of you.
Right.
So I think that that's not something that you can force, though. I think our company does a good job at FPL. We really try to help give many of our junior employees mentors and things like that.
Oh, that's great. Like within the company.
The company.
Oh, wonderful.
And it is wonderful. But you also can't force it.
Right.
And it has to be more of a natural relationship for it to really work. And so if you're fortunate enough to find someone that's the right fit and they have the ability to be giving of their time to you, grab it.
Right.
It's a gift. But if you don't, that's okay too.
Okay.
And, and as far as how to position yourself in STEM or the science fields, I think that there's so many more opportunities to be engaged in that community than there ever was here in South Florida. And so be involved in the community, whether it's, you never know where you're going to, those relationships really help you develop what you have a passion for. You learn something every time you meet somebody new.
That is true.
And you become more confident because you having a viewpoint of the landscape, even if it's not within your own organization, is truly helpful. So it was just my natural inclination when I was out of school and got into the working world. I wanted to be involved in the community outside of my job. And so that path, I think, really led to helping me develop a lot of the community engagement programming that we have at our company today.
Yeah.
So I would say find things in the community that sort of align with that. go to a competition at a startup incubator.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Attend robotics competitions. These robotics competitions at these local schools are amazing. FPL sponsors a lot of them.
Oh, that's great.
So, find those things that interest you, and you will form relationships, and you will be amazed how big your world grows
Right.
by participating in those community events that you might not think
Well,
that much about.
yeah. Well, and I think too, just the attitude and approach seems to just be willing and open, to if you have the time, even if you don't have the time, make the time to be involved and engaged where you live and, outside of work. And then those worlds will collide,
Right. An example of something we do at FPL is we host and sponsor robotics competitions. And our engineers will give of their time. These are on weekends.
Oh,
And they will go serve as, quote, mechanics
oh, that's cool.
for these students to help them with their technology in these competitions.
Right.
And, it's really to benefit the students, but our employees come back and tell us how much they get out of it. And they meet the other engineers there. We meet future talent for our company.
Oh, that's incredible.
So, something like that where it's really a volunteer opportunity, yet you're getting something out of it yourself.
Yeah, fulfillment on both sides.
Right.
I love that. I love that. So your role at FPL spans 43 counties, major infrastructure projects, and community engagement programs. Plus, you're involved on numerous boards and all the other things, right? Because you balance a lot. And how do you balance professional demands with personal commitments and family life? Because you said you have 2 sons and a husband and life and family, but also you hustle. So how does that work?
I think that's the age-old question for
Right.
everyone.
Right? It's like, how do you do this?
The way I would do it would be so unique. I think the right answer is so unique to every single person. And I think it's so unique to whatever phase of life you're in.
Right.
And so the way I've always approached it is the better you are at prioritizing what your day is going to be, the better you are at feeling like, okay, I have balance. So if you ever expect to have complete equilibrium in your life, you're probably setting too high of an expectation.
Right. It's like,
because that is just not realistic in our world.
Right.
But I think if you feel that you prioritize correctly most of the time, because sometimes you're going to mess up,
right,
then you feel pretty good about it. And so obviously there's nothing more important to me than my kids. And so they always come first. But also, when you are taking care of a family and providing for a family, you have obligations.
Right.
And you need to do those to the best of your ability. And you're also trying to set an example for your kids.
Right.
And so I think making sure that the family unit understands what everyone's obligations and responsibilities are is so important. But also having a sense of priority of, okay, what's going to be my priorities today? And, I think in the profession I'm at, it allowed me the luxury of having control where if I wanted to be, take my children to their afternoon sports games, weekends we were always traveling with sports when they were home. They're both in college and law school now.
Oh, great. Okay.
But, those priorities you set, but then there were times when there's an obligation at work that that was the priority. So I think it's a matter of making sure you have a good sense of what your priorities are. And unfortunately, that's not something you can say, all right, for this month, this is my priority.
Right.
It's kind of a daily, if not hourly thing.
Right. Exactly.
So I think the better you are in your own life at saying, these are my priorities, the better you're going to feel like you have a sense of balance.
Yeah. So are you you're a planner, it sounds like.
I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, fellow Virgo. Happy birthday, by the way, fellow Virgo. So like for me, it's like I'm a lists person. I'm an agenda person. I have a phone calendar, but I have a physical calendar. Like are those the type of just really just practical things to know to help prioritize those?
Couldn't do it without all those things.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'm like, even down to the pen I use, I'm like, and the colors and pencils and all those things. So we got a couple more minutes. I just want to ask just a couple more questions. So Palm Beach County is rapidly growing with new businesses, schools, and industries emerging. How do you see FPL's role in supporting innovation, sustainability, and economic development as our community evolves?
Well, first of all, thank you for that question, because that is something that we as a company have really tried to be a partner with the state, with our local communities. starting with our core business. So we obviously know this is an economy that is growing exponentially, as well as a state that has to really address the realities of stronger weather. And
Yeah.
so we've seen over the last 20 years how weather has really impacted. And when our economy is impacted by bad weather now, it's an even bigger impact when people lose power. So we have made tremendous investment in our system to strengthen it, to harden it. If you're an FPL customer, you will see work going on all over the state. We've basically hardened our entire transmission grid.
Wow.
We have hardened most of our main lines. And now we're doing a storm secure program where we're going into neighborhoods, and this will be over a 20 or 30-year process, and undergrounding neighborhood lines.
That's amazing.
So
and not cheap either. Like, wow.
And so that's why it needs to be spread. But
right.
So, to make those investments, and we already can see, because we started this program 10 years ago, this is already having huge positive impacts. So, for example, the West Coast was hit so dramatically over the last couple of years with Hurricane Ian and then with Helene and Milton last year. The speed and the efficiency with which we were able to restore and get people's power back on was so much better than it was even 6 years earlier.
That's incredible.
So we're making dramatic improvements. So those investments, first and foremost, I think are really helping to support sustainability in our economy here in Florida. But then on an even kind of, more business-oriented note, our economic development team, and really working with the business community to draw businesses here, to celebrate and market Florida as a place where there's high quality jobs. We work very closely with the chamber to identify jobs that are open and where we go to draw those skill sets to Florida. Work with our local universities to develop programs to train people for those jobs that we need to fill. So our economic development program spans a lot of things that are focused on workforce development, bringing high quality businesses to Florida, as well as growing our startup businesses with 35 Mules. And so 35 Mules is another piece of that, where we are hosting startup companies from all over the world. We host 8 or 10 of them at a time, and we really help raise the bar for them. And we also hope that they will see the benefits of staying in Florida when they're done with our program. And that adds new industries, new jobs, and new potential growth that we think is really good for Florida.
I love that. That's incredible. That's okay. And really quick, what excites you most about the future of energy?
Wow. So that I could talk the whole podcast.
I know,
on
right?
That. I would say that, the energy industry has been under disruption for many years. And while that is challenging, it is what is so exciting. And I think it really showcases the leadership that we have at FPL.
Wow.
And, there are new policies and, new directions that our government takes. And one thing that I'm super excited about is that Next Air Energy, as our parent organization, as well as FPL, we are the leader in energy.
Yeah.
And we are the largest operator of natural gas plants. We are one of the largest operators of our nuclear fleet. We really believe that a diverse source of generation mix is really the future of our country.
Yeah.
And we believe that we've been able to demonstrate that we can meet that challenge from every angle to serve our customers quickly, efficiently, at the lowest possible cost.
Right.
And so we're very excited to continue that mission. But the diversity of generation mix is really the way to go, and we're very excited about what the future holds.
That's so good. All right, really quick, some rapid fire questions. These are just for you. What are you watching right now? Any binge-worthy shows on TV?
Oh my gosh, I just finished, I'm behind the times, but season 5 of Yellowstone.
Oh, yes. So
I
good.
was behind on that one. That was very good. I kind of move around, and I love watching documentaries.
Oh, documentaries. Okay.
So I watch a lot of Netflix documentaries.
They're so good. What is on your nightstand or Kindle for books? Do you read? Are you a big reader at all?
So I'm in a book club that I get
You're
well
in a book
behind.
club.
So I don't go every month. But one of the last books I read was Woman. It was very good.
Very good.
And there's a book that I'm recommending to the group by Arthur Brooks called Love Your Enemies.
Arthur Brooks is great.
Yes. And another one called From Strength to Strength.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
that's one of his newer books. I think he just came out with a new one on happiness, but he's one of my
He's
authors of choice
amazing.
right now.
Yeah, he's amazing. I've heard him speak. He's incredible. And then last question, what's your go-to coffee order? Or if you're not a coffee drinker, tea, matcha, what's your fix?
I am a very regular iced mocha
Iced
latte.
mocha latte.
That
Okay, I
is
like
it.
it. That's so good. Awesome.
Light on the mocha.
Light on the mocha, right? I love it. Well, Pam, thank you for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having me,
And
Donna.
it just was so fun. And if you have any last minute plugs for us, please do anything about FPL or whatever you want. It's your chance to shine.
I would just say that I am so excited for all the things that the Palm Beach Chamber is bringing to our community. Very grateful to you and Doug and the whole team, and very excited for the growth and excitement at that chamber. FPL is so proud to be a partner.
Thank you so much. Awesome.